Okay, first I'll say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Hashem, Al-Shah, Hashem, Gafadash. Give all praise. The double honor to others, past and teach the great meals, and follow the truth, and say shalom to the hopeful life of Israel. And I'm going to send this on the lake of fire. And the lake of fire is going to be America. It doesn't refer to hell. And give me a second here. I'm just going to look up what hell is really quickly. Because you have hell mentioned here throughout the scriptures. See, tons of scriptures. But hell, pit, Sheol, Hades, grave. New Testament, Greek, Old Testament, Hebrew for hell. And we got a couple of definitions for hell. But there's one definition in particular that I'm looking for where it goes into the origin of hell, and it's right here, Gehenna. And no, well, the hell that we've been taught is a fairy tale. It's not real. Whether people want to acknowledge it or not, it doesn't really matter. It's the simple truth. But hell, and even if you want to talk about hell, like just going off of what we know about the Heavenly Father, him sending people to hell where they will burn forever, is unmerciful. That's one thing I want to point out is how that everybody on this earth is worthy of death many times over. Yet the scriptures say how great the Lord's majesty is how great his mercy is. And says here, hell is a place of future punishment called Gehenna or Gehenna of fire. So it's telling you that this is a place of future punishment that people would go to for punishment. But what else does it say? That its origins, like when we look up the original meanings of words, right? So the origin, where it came from, this idea of hell, eternal punishment, was originally the valley of Hinnom, south of Jerusalem, where filth and dead animals of the city were cast out and burned, a fit symbol of the wicked and their future destruction. So it says it was the idea of hell came from the valley of Hinnom, and you look that up. What is that? It says Gehenna is a biblical toponym that has acquired various theological connotations, including as a place of divine punishment in Jewish eschatology. Place first mentioned in the Hebrew Bible as part of a border between the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. During the late First Temple period, it was a site of the Tophet where some of the kings of Judah had sacrificed their children by fire. And what going into specifically Molech is a god that offers that is worshipped by sacrificing children. Thereafter, it was cursed by the biblical prophet Jeremiah. In later rabbinic culture, Gehenna became associated with divine punishment as the destruction of the wicked for the atonement of their sins. So once again, it says in later rabbinic literature. So like what? It wasn't originally a place where people would burn forever. It became that over time. And as you know, things change over time. Things just like hell got gassed up over time. hell, like this hell doctrine, to take advantage of people. For example, Catholics look up something called an indulgence. An indulgence is basically a get out of jail sin free card, if I said that correctly. Essentially, you would sin, they would preach hell, and if you'd sin or do some shit, you would pay these niggas money for an indulgence, and according to them, because you got the indulgence, your sin is now forgiven. But that's one way it was used as a ploy of gain. But this is where it originally come from, and it said what in later rabbinic culture, became associated with divine punishment as destination of the wicked for the atonement of their sins. So it wasn't originally a place where people will burn forever. It became that over time. And as we know, with all these different doctrines and dogmas, they're just that, they're just common beliefs, whether they're true or not. As long as enough people believe in it, more people will believe that thing as true, whether it's true or not. But I just wanted to get that, just going into what hell, because once again, hell doesn't exist. And you had Jonah that mentioned how if I remember correctly, that he was in hell, and pretty much he was swallowed up by a large I would say a whale or a large fish. And obviously you get swallowed up by a whale or a fish, you're you're going through hell. Because there's all types of stuff that's going on inside of an animal that large. No, you don't know. You don't know what the fuck is about to happen. Say he was in there for 3 days. But I just wanted to get that because once again, a lot of people believe that you go to hell. No, it doesn't. Once again, it logically doesn't make sense for the Heavenly Father to put. See, that's one thing that doesn't make sense. Once again, people on the earth can barely handle the lives that they're given. What makes you think they could handle an eternity? See, people are crashing out at 30, killing themselves off of what they're doing now, off of what they're going through now. What makes you think that people will be able to survive eternity, burning forever and going through whatever the fuck Dante's Inferno and hell? It doesn't make sense. And I'm going to get this really quickly. Give me a second here. Because you think that when your spirit will go to hell to suffer, but where does your spirit go when you die? This is Ecclesiastes 12:7. Ecclesiastes 12:7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, which is what these bodies, and the spirit shall return to Yahweh who gave it. So once again, the spirit returns to the Heavenly Father. You don't go to hell. You don't burn in hell. And even when you go into that whole thing with let's say, your punishment for a wicked, sinful life is to burn in hell, right? So, once again, because the Lord works through miracles, but he works through unexplainable miracles, of course. He also works he works within and without of the laws of physics that he set. So pretty much he can do whatever the fuck he wants, but he works within and without the laws of physics that he set. For example, the whole Immaculate Conception thing. Sure, he could have made a baby appear in Mary's womb, but he didn't. And when you go into the meaning of that word seed, it goes to sperm. How does sperm get inside of a woman? Sex. He could have done that, but that's not what he did at that moment. You know, Yahweh Shai had made loaves of bread and multiplied bread and multiplied fish. He worked outside. He healed people, brought people back to life. He worked outside the laws of miracles, outside outside of the laws of physics. Now he had the power to destroy the Roman Empire. That would have been outside the laws of physics, but he didn't. Just going, he's going a little piece of proof of how the Lord can work in and outside the laws of physics. Ecclesiastes 3:16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. So what people think that they go to hell to be judged, but where is the place of judgment under the sun? The earth. That wickedness was there, and that the place of the righteous, and that iniquity was there. Judgment is carried out under the sun, on the earth. What sense does it make for somebody to get sent to hell, right? Because like somebody does wicked, evil, sinful life, they'll go to hell, and then when the good Lord comes back, right, they'll be raised up, and then they'll go back to hell. Once again, that doesn't fucking make sense. You say, well, God works in mysterious ways. True, he does, but he's not full of shit. Whatever that is, that's bullshit. Once again, it doesn't make sense. He'll take you out just to put you right back in. And once again, I'll say it one more. I'll say it again. I said it before. I'll say it again. That would be unmerciful. And we know that the Lord is extremely merciful. Plenty of places, all over the scriptures talk about how the Lord is merciful. What we're worthy of death, but he doesn't do it. He doesn't knock us off. King David did things worthy of death, but the Lord didn't knock him off. Our people did things worthy of death on the spot, but what? Here we are. But yeah, I'm just gonna go to Revelation. I'm trying to get through this quick because 10 minutes of a preamble. But it's Revelation 20:14. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Whosoever is not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. And the lake of fire is going to be America when the Lord hits this bitch with missiles. And not just missiles, but 200 million nuclear missiles. And now let me see. I'm gonna go to this. Shit, where was it? This is Isaiah 34:11. It shall not be quenched day nor night. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it, the owl also, and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. And the point I want to get is how this is the destruction of Babylon the Great America. And the point I wanted to get is the line of confusion. Why? Is because you're not going to be able to tell where Florida was, or where fucking Canada was, or where Atlanta was. Because why? Because everything is going to be turned into fucking dust in America. And like, once again, if you can get, like, it's not for everybody to see, because the Bible is codified. And for example, let's say if the Lord just came out and straight up said just America is Babylon the Great, America is going to be destroyed with missiles, the Bible wouldn't have gotten our hands. So that, you know, the Bible is codified. So I just want to just make sure that you get that, because once again, if it just came out and said the so-called white man is Esau, the Bible would have never gotten our hands. Look at what so-called white men already did with the images of the Lord, with different depictions and paintings. They were dark skinned, but he painted over them. So what the fuck do you think he would, if he painted over the images of the Lord, and it says in the Bible what he looks like? What the fuck do you think the so-called white man would have did if it came out and just said America was Babylon the Great? We wouldn't have saw a page nor a letter of the Bible. And because Esau, he's all over the Bible. Babylon the Great, all over the Bible. If he just said America is Babylon the Great here, we would have never got it. So that we would have got like a three chapter Bible with 3 chapters in it. So Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And throughout, like when you go into the destruction of America, here the funny thing about this is that the destruction of Babylon the Great, that idea and that same topic of fire keeps coming up. That same topic of fire, it's a reoccurring thing. And I've got a couple of scriptures going to go into the same thing: fire, fire, fire. But what is the lake of fire if it's hell? But how do you explain this? Isaiah 9:4. For every battle of the words is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. Think of 300, where you had niggas up close and personal getting bloody, cutting niggas open, niggas losing arms, getting kicked through walls and shit, getting popped by fucking spears, Troy style. Achilles style, launching the damn spear across the field and tagging the nigga, nailing his ass to the damn wall. Or nailing his ass to the fucking ground, and then horses trampling on him, blood splattering everywhere. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Why is the term fuel used? What's used in the missile to power it? Fuel. Revelation 9:15. And 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour in the day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men, which is the so-called white man. He's the third part of men, the son of perdition. You got the sons of God, which are us. Well, where the bloodline the sons of God comes down to us. Back then, we were actually called the sons of God. But now, that bloodline went down to the Israelites, the sons of men, which are the heathen, and the sons of the wicked, which is the so-called white man. And he's that third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, 200 million. And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in a vision. And once again, this is John the Revelator during the Roman captivity, when there were no missiles in existence. There were no fuel, the different types of metals that's used on missiles, no damn rocket fucking thing, whatever the fuck you call those things on the back of the missile, no rocket, none of that shit was in existence. So they didn't have the terminology. So he described this to the best of the terminology that he saw. Just like what Ed just called the chariot that Yahushua was on, a mountain. Now we will call it a UFO, but he called it a mountain. Why? Because of the size of it. He didn't have the term unidentified flying object. He didn't have the term unidentified aerial phenomenon. He used what he could. Same with all the prophets. They used what they could when it came to future prophecies in describing things. Once again, the Bible is codified. And 4 angels loose, which were prepared for an hour, a day, in the month, and the year for the slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of horsemen were 200,000, 200 million. 200 million nuclear missiles, each with multiple warheads, with the power of the sun in the palm of my hand. But they said those missiles, the heat of those explosions can get hotter than the surface of the sun. The power of the sun, nigga. and you know the funny thing about it is that it's actually worse than the heat of the sun, because it's that's a chemical. I'm not sure if chemicals are right, because you got these different types of fucking fires, but I think it's like a chemical fire mixed with some other shit. Radiation, you rent some other crazy shit. So that's what's going to happen. Where are these missiles going to come from? All of these other heathen nations. The scriptures talk about how the Lord's going to, he's going to, they become as weak as we. He's going to prepare the heathen and build up their armies and their military and their armories. And that's what he's been doing. An example is Iran just got back into enriching and refining their uranium for nuclear weapons. And this happened a couple weeks ago, where the U.S. told them to stop, but Iran said, fuck that. And they went for it, and they did what they had to do with their uranium and whatnot. Refining their weaponry. Getting ready for World War III. But once again, the topic you'll find when it comes to destruction of Babylon the Great is fire. Why fire? Going all back into Revelation 20 and 14, the lake of fire is going to be America. Because the Lord is going to knock off America with fire. And that's verse 13. Thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and of brimstone, and the heads of the horses were the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. Once again, he used what he had, and says like what? The breastplates of the fire and of jacinth, going into the metal plating of the missiles. And the heads of the horses were the heads of lions. They looking at a fucking missile is a terrifying fucking thing. And out of mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. When the warheads is located in the tip of the missile. So when the tip of the missile touches down, that fire issues forth from the tip of the missile. Now you got different missiles where you have warheads that's located like on the body of the missile, but closer towards the tip. Same fucking thing. By these three was a third part of men killed by fire and by smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and their tails. And in their tails, for when their tails are like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. Why? Is because the smoke, the exhaust off of the back of the missile from the propulsion it looks like a snake. It looks like a snake. It looks like a fucking tail. But once again, remember, keep in mind that 200 million missiles are going to touch down on America. If 200 million missiles touch down on America, what the fuck do you think America is going to look like? And how do we know it's going to touch down on America? I'm going to go to, let me see here. I think I'm going to, if this isn't it, then I'm just going to go to it. Jeremiah 50 and 14. Put yourself in array against Babylon, round about all ye that bend the bow. Everybody that has nuclear fucking missiles. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. Spare no arrows. Jeremiah 15:14. Let me see what the word arrow is there. Because unless they changed it, one of these scriptures, it likens arrow. It literally says an arrow is a missile. It literally says a missile. I think this may be the scripture, unless they change it, because the fuck has been changing. Arrow. Archer. Whether it's there or not, it's the same fucking thing. Because, like, what arrow shot from one end of the earth to the other, that's a missile, anyway. But they probably fucking changed it. Because I remember it was probably this one where they said that the arrow was literally a missile. But either way, same fucking thing. And really, what arrow? For southern rays, Babylon, round about all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. Shout against her round about, she hath given her hand, her foundation are fallen, her walls are thrown down. For as the vengeance of the Lord, take vengeance upon her, as she hath done, do unto her. Yeah. I'm going to go to this really quickly. This is Luke 12:49. Luke 12:49. I'm come to send fire on earth, and what will I if it already be kindled? Because when Yahushua comes back, the earth is already, well, I won't say the entire earth, but there's already going to be hell, and especially when it comes to America. America's going to be already on fire. The Lord is going to drop chariot fire on this place. And you got in 2nd Esdras 13, where it goes into how these heathen nations are going to try to fight against Yahushua, but he's going to turn them into ash. Same thing with America. He's going to drop down fire already on top of a burning America. But once again, that lake of fire is going to be America. Just have a few more here. Because like I said earlier, the main theme of the destruction of Babylon the Great is fire. The same thing keeps being repeated, fire. Because what? Fire is a purifying agent. You know, that's one thing. It's a purifying agent. You know, the first death was with water. The second death is with fire, with the nuclear missiles. It was 1716. And this is going into the beast system. You know, the NATO and the EU, the whole Edomite the Edomite power structure that he's built up. And when you jump down verse 17, chapter 17, verse 14. Nope. 16. And the horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall hate the whore, going into NATO, the originators of NATO and the EU shall hate the whore. And you see that going on now. You know, with these whole tariffs thing and that trust of America being fucking broken. Where the whore shall hate the whore, which is America. and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And once again, when you go into this is a future prophecy going to NATO and the EU, where these nuclear missiles and that fire is possible and very much a reality. So how are these kings going to eat the whore's flesh and burn her with fire? What are these kingdoms, what are these nations going to use to do that? Going to those 200 million missiles. Revelation 18 and 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Why are they? So once again, going to America. America is the one who deals business with everybody on the earth. But why are these heathen nations why will they be sad that America is burning? It's because they're no longer able to make money off of this place. Because the only reason why these heathen nations deal with America, look at China, right? China, despite the tariffs that's being implemented on China is still dealing with America. Why? It's because America is one of China's biggest fucking markets. They make one of the countries that they make the most money off of is America. China makes the most money off of is America, and vice versa with America. But these heathen nations have to deal with America as long as that dollar is in power. But it says, verse 8. Therefore verse 9, then the kings of the earth who have committed fornication with her, live deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, and standing afar for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Once again, what can destroy an entire fucking landmass such as America in 1 hour? What can do that? And once again, use vision. How will that, with that amount of damage within that short span of time, what the fuck will that look like? What would it look like? What will 200 million missiles getting dropped on America what will the aftermath look like? It'll look like a lake of fucking fire. But most people don't have the vision. And what all these heathens and these kings of the earth, it said here that they're going to step back from America. They're going to have to retreat from America. Why? It says the smoke of her torment is smoke of her torment, for the fear of the smoke of her torment. Why are they leaving America? Because they now saying, hey, we can no longer make any money off of this whore. What the fuck just happened to Babylon the Great? What the fuck just happened to the whore? If they're no longer able to do business with it, what just happened to it? It just got burnt the fuck up within an hour. And once again, what the fuck would that type of damage, what would it look like? With fire all over the place. What would it look like? And verse 11, the mercy of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise anymore. Why? Because they fucking can't. It's done. And going on verse 17 or 16, saying, Alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, that gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. In other words, all of these things that America has amassed, in 1 hour, all of that shit just got wiped the fuck away. What can do that? And once again, all these things are alluded to fire. Is it tsunami going to do it? Well, why didn't it say water? Well, the Lord already took everything out by water. For 1 hour, so great riches come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors, as many as trade by sea, stood afar off. All these heathens, these niggas are gonna back the fuck off of they're gonna go into slavery too, but they're gonna jump ship on America. Why are they why are they backing the fuck off? Because something just happened to this bitch. This bitch just got burnt the fuck up within 1 hour. And they stood far off looking at its burning, look at the smoke. Because like what? The destruction of America is going to be broadcast over everybody else that don't get hit with a fucking missile. Because our land is going to get hit with missiles too. Because those faggots need to be purged out, and our land has to be cleansed. But it's going to be broadcast over the whole earth. And verse 18, and they cried when they saw a smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour she is made desolate. What can do that? Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. Once again, think about the physics of that shit. What could do that much damage to a city, to the greatest city on the face, to the greatest place on the face of the earth? What can do that much damage within 1 hour? And what will the aftermath be? Like I just said, nuclear missiles burning the place to fuck up. Turn it to a lake of fire. And it says it's going to be found no more at all. Meaning all you see, everything, your house, everything, the apartments, Cardi B, all this shit going to get burnt to the fucking beyond the ground. There's going to be nothing left. I'm looking at here some paper towel that I got from the store. All this shit gonna be fucking gone. Your canned food, all of it's gonna be fucking gone. And this is it. Revelation 15. 1, and I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of Yahweh. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire. And this is talking about the view from the chariots looking through the ozone layer. It's going to be distorted like you're looking through glass. Why? Because the elect are going to be taken up in the chariots. Because the only way to survive, America getting nuked is to go up. Because everything is going to be on fire all around you. Anybody here on the Souls of America, I don't give a fuck if you have a bunker on America. You're all going to die. That's why you got niggas that get bunkers in other countries instead of getting bunkers in America. Because everything on this bitch is going to be burnt to the dark meat, to the ground, to the dirt. That's also where a sea of glass mingled with fire. A sea of glass mingled with fire. Lake of fire. And them that had gotten victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, and stood on the sand of the glass, on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh. But once again, all of the scriptures, like when you go into destruction of Babylon the Great America, it all goes into destruction by what? By fire. Like obviously you got the plagues going into the breaking down of Babylon the Great America. But when it comes to that hour of everything being fucking destroyed completely, when it comes to the last plague, it goes into what? Fire. And once again, 200 million missiles. How will the aftermath of that look? It will look like a sea of fire, missiles on top of fire, and drop it down even more fire. It will look like I don't even want to say inside of a volcano, because but it will look like a sea of fire or a lake of fire. But sorry it took so long. Hope it's that fine. So all praises, glory, and knowledge. How about Shema Shah, Bashim Kapdash. The Bronze Elders, Possible Teacher at Mills, True Shalom to Hope Lake Israel Instruction Battle, Great America.